All right, here's another one. Just going to estimate, not going to write anything down. Or I'm going to try not to as I explain it at least. So, but the idea is that you would reason through it without writing anything down. So the traveler takes an hour to drive to a museum, spends 3 hours, 30 minutes there, takes half an hour to drive home. Around what percentage of his or her time is spent driving? So let's think of this as one big trip, right? We have this one outing, this trip. Okay, so hour and a half driving, 3.5 hours there, another half hour home. So that's 3.5, 4.5, 5 hours. So 5 hours total that was spent out in this for this entire trip, and only 1.5 hours, because I add the hour before and the half hour after, we're driving. So 1.5 hours out of 5 hours total. There's a lot of ways to think of this, and I just said, we're supposed to reason through it without writing anything down, but I think it will help your understanding if I show you what I sort of thought of it as. So I thought, well, 1.5 out of 5, that's like 1.5 out of 5, which is the same as 15 out of 50, right? If we multiply the top and bottom by 10, right? And that's still like, well, 15 out of 50. If I multiply 15 times 3, I get 45, which is almost all of 50. It's 45, so it's close. Makes me think it might be 30%. So that's one kind of thinking. If I multiply this fraction by 2, I get 30 out of 100. 30 out of 100 is exactly 30%. So that's one way that you might think of it. The other way might be to think about, well, how much time was at the museum? 3.5 hours. So if you think of in percentages, you've got 5 hours. And so 1 hour is 20%, 2 hours is 40%, 3 hours is 60%. So the museum time was more than 60% of the time. So I know it's not 60% for driving time. 15% seems too low, right? So even if I didn't already feel like it's 30, between 30 and 40, I would know that if I spent more than 60% of my time at the museum, it's got to add up to 100% of the time, right? So it can't be 40% driving. The 40 plus 60 plus that other half hour is more than 100%. So that is like another reason why I feel confident in saying that it must be 30%. So that's a couple of ways to kind of think through it. You very well could use some other reasoning that's just as good or better for getting to your solution.